Well, hello, and welcome back to my last presentation of this 13-week journey that we've been on together, this Beyond Resolutions program. It's been a powerful time, I feel. I myself have enjoyed so much going through this process of contemplating these energies that we're moving through. I felt more engaged in my life, not necessarily in the nitty-gritty, but in the sort of bigger picture of it, the environment, the energies that are around. Excuse me. At the same time, I've also felt a little bit more, not removed, but maybe witnessing of the energies too, more able to say, oh, okay, that's what I'm watching play out. That's interesting. And I have found that to be very liberating. I look forward to hearing what your feeling of this time has been, your contemplation. Let me share my screen with you. So today we are looking at the energies that the sun brings us as it moves into gate 37. Gate 37 is a tribal gate. We're still here also in the solar plexus. And we have an emotional wave. Of course, it's a powerful motor energy driving the tribal wave. I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go along. So gate 37 is called the Gate of Friendship. It's a lovely gate to finish on. It's been very well orchestrated that for Danica and Abe that they finished it this way. I know they did this on purpose. The Gate of Friendship. Because this is what we've built up, isn't it? Over these last few weeks, we've built up a trust with each other. We've built up a little support network, a little friendship network. Tribal Circuitry has the keynote of support. It's a very important part of tribal circuitry. It's also, you might remember me saying, it's quite sticky. It's a sticky old circuit. There can be quite a lot of shrewdness in the tribe, actually. You might remember that we've looked at a couple of other gates in tribal circuitry already. We had gate 19 just after the new year. We had gate 49 very recently. This is all part of what's called the same stream. It's a stream of touch. And it starts here with the pressure to need, the pressure of sensitivity in gate 19, and it moves up through into the 49. Then it crosses that bit of the solar plexus. Of course, this isn't a physical thing. This is an energetic movement from there into the 37 and up to the 40. So we're looking here at the emphasis, that's on need, that's on that sensitivity, that's on sacrifice and principles. Also, we had gate 54. You might remember here, this was one of the first ones. It was actually the second one that we looked at, the gate of ambition. It's not part of the same stream, but it's part of the same overall circuit, the tribal circuit. So it still has, that the looking for material resources in order to support the tribe, in order for success for the tribe on material plane. It is part of the channel of community. It's a very special channel in many ways. For me personally, it's a special channel because it's my only channel in the whole body graph. And it's not actually related to my Sun-Earth positions. I don't have it in that sense. I have it in different gates, but it is my only channel. And so being driven to find a community, to be part of a tribe, a community, is very important to me. It's why this time here and being part of the Beyond Resolutions community has been such a nurturing, nourishing time for me. So yes, the gate of friendship, which is part of the channel of community. It's called a design of a part seeking a whole. You can't be a tribe on your own. You can enjoy your own company. I mean, that's a given, but you can't really be a tribe of one. And there is a huge drive in tribal circuitry to belong to the community, to belong to something that's bigger than you on your own. We still have a genetic memory of how important tribe used to be to our ancestors. To be without tribe was tantamount to having a death sentence of some sort. You know, to be kicked out of the tribe was the ultimate punishment. And there are still echoes of that in our makeup. You know, we don't want to be singled out. We don't want to be different, not too different. We might like to be a little eccentric now and then. And individuality, as we know, as a circuit group, tends to want to walk to its own drum. But anything to do with tribal needs that cohesive need, needs the continuity, which is actually another gate within that circuitry. So you see how all of these keynotes play together, and they give us the story of our experience through life. Gate 37 is the most communal gate in the body graph. We have that flow again from gate 49 to 19 to 49, which has the connection to food. You might remember 19 is looking for the food to feed the tribe. It likes the full fridge. And gate 49 is the butcher, the sacrifice. It's providing those meals that keep us all together at the key times. And with gate 37, we have a correlation to the mouse. And so food again, so feeding people. Because we know from gate 49 that if people are well fed, if they're well nurtured and nourished, they don't have the same desire to create a revolution. It keeps the community and the tribe and the family together if you feed them well. If you give them that nourishment, if you give them the support that they need, the family will stay intact. That's what the tribe wants. There is an emotional awareness here to a degree, a sort of a clarity around who can provide, who is well prepared within themselves to give what is needed. It can be quite a calculating energy, as I said, you know, has that shrewdness about it, because the tribe has really one overarching desire, and that is to exist, to survive, to be the best possible tribe. So all of these little things, all of these play into it, you know, the needs, the resources, the food. At the same time, it's not just completely calculating. It's, you know, there is a lot of warmth in gate 37. There's a lot of friendliness. There's a lot of nurturing. And there is an ability to make an emotional connection with others. It's connected to the solar plexus, that emotional center. There's the possibility for a true connection that comes through touch, because this is the stream of touch. You know, everything in this one, it loves a hug. It loves, just if you're upset, just to kind of like, it's all right, everything will be okay. That can be enough. That little bit of a touch can be enough to change things around. So it's a very social gate, keeping the family together. It can be seen as the community representative. It's the one who welcomes in the newcomer and makes them feel part of the family. You know, it'll make them a cup of tea. It'll give them something to eat. It's quite big on feeding people. I speak from experience. And also, back to that slight stickiness with this gate, this channel, this stream, there is often, if not always, usually always, something required in exchange for this. And it might be just your friendship in return, but there will be some kind of bargain, because that's inherent in this channel. The channel of community, which is what we have with the 4037, is also known as the channel of the bargain. And that can be the marriage bargain. I mean, that's a huge part of tribal of infrastructure. It's the marriage bargain, the marriage contract, which in olden days would have been used to cement a community together. You know, it wasn't often for love. You might have been very lucky if you married for love, but you might also have been the son who had to marry the daughter of the baron over the hill there to cement your groups together. So that's another kind of bargain, of course. And then remember as well, it goes back to that gate 54 that we looked at, the gate of ambition. It's that whole, we scratch each other's backs, we help each other up the ladder. That's all bargains. We might not frame it like that to each other, but that's what it is. When we build on gate 19 and gate 49 in that same stream, there's a very deep link here to needs, to assets, to the skills of the tribe, to being sensitive to them, but also delivering them, because it's all very well being able to say, oh, this is what we need, but you also need somebody there who's able to somehow deliver. And 37 is very good at finding the people who can deliver the resources that are needed. Usually that comes from the 40 because it links into the ego, and that has its whole energy as well. And it's all of the willpower to look after the tribe. But 37 can spot these people who are good at delivering what is needed. I want to show you the mandala. The opposition in this case, we always talk about the earth, the grounding energy here. And the opposition in this case, if you see the 37, its opposition is the 40. And as we've seen, and you can see from this little thumbnail here at the top right, the opposition is also the harmonic. So what that means, is that there's only a few times that this happens in the whole of the body graph where you find that the opposition in the chart, like the 3740, is also the opposition in the channel, or the harmonic gate, the other end of the channel. We also find it in the 3420 here, that's one, and the 2343. So it doesn't happen very often, which kind of makes it very special, but it also can mean that a lot of people have it, because it becomes, if you've got the sun in the 40, you're always going to have the earth in the 37, and vice versa. So twice a year, anyone who's born within this week or these 6 days, well, it's actually 4 times a year, isn't it? Because no, it's twice a year. Oops. I don't do maths, obviously. Twice a year, everybody is going to have, anyone born in that time is going to have the whole channel. So it's really very much part of our existence, our experience on this plane, to have community, to have tribe. It's a driving force for us. It's also part of the background frequency at this time, because these two gates together, the 3740, are half of what's called the channel, the cross of planning. And the cross of planning has been the background frequency, the global background frequency, for the last 400 years. So the community, the bargain, the family, all of those institutions that go into supporting these things, they have been in our background frequency for 400 odd years. This is what's changing in 2027 when we move into a new background frequency. But because it's been such a part of our existence, it has saturated our existence, you could say, we haven't really questioned the validity of it. We just go along with it. It's just what it is. It's so familiar, and it was familiar to our grandparents and their grandparents. 400 years is a really decent chunk of time to have something constantly, and it is constantly in your experience. You don't even notice it. It's like the air we breathe, it's the water for fish, all of those sorts of analogies. But especially during a transit, when they are in a chart, when they're defined in a chart, we can maybe tap into those a little bit more. So contemplations that I can offer you at this time. I invite you to look around during this transit and to see which communities you're part of. Who's your tribe? What bargains have you made in order to be part of that tribe? And sometimes we might think, well, I was just born into it. It's my family. I didn't have any choice. I didn't join this community. I didn't join this family. Okay, you could look at it in that way, but you can also see there will still be some bargains there. Maybe you're the head of the family. Maybe you're the eldest son. Or there are a lot of sticky little bargains around being the eldest son. Also, being the youngest comes with a certain amount of baggage. Being the only girl, being the only boy. being the carer, being the unmarried one, being the one who brings all the grandchildren, whatever that bargain is. We don't necessarily ever talk about it, but there are lots of them. You know, you come home from school and you do the dishes before you do your homework, and then I'll make you supper. It might not be spoken, but it becomes part of the fabric of the family. So these are sorts of things. You know, I think, look at those bargains. How do you feel about those now? Any bargains that are in your life? Are they clear? Did you choose to enter into them? Are you happy to stay in them? Do you feel supported by your tribe? Whatever form that tribe takes. And remember, we talked right back in Gate 54 about the different tribes you can have. You know, it could be your family, it could be your street, it could be your community or your colleagues or your spinning circle. But do you feel supported by them? Do they give you opportunities to support? Because it also needs to work both ways. The energy needs to flow here. Well, energy always needs to flow, doesn't it? Stagnant energy is no good to anybody. But in terms of the tribe, it's not about just taking. There has to be that. Okay, let's give and take. Let's flow it. Let's support each other. What else? Is it time for you to look at a new community, to find one that supports you as you are now, not as you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, half an hour ago, but one that supports you in a deeply nourishing way and gives you that opportunity to support in turn. As the sun transits this gate, are you feeling more touchy? You're more sensitive. It's part of that stream of sensitivity. You know, it has echoes of the 19 and the 49, whether they are in the transit or not. Are you feeling an urge to feed someone? Maybe not drag them in off the street and, put a 3-course meal in front of them, but there can be that sort of maybe a bigger draw to food at this time, because food is a huge part of this. You know, gate 40, which we're not looking at, but is the opposite. We're kind of looking at it. It's the grounding force. It's the stomach. So we have the 37 as the mouse, and gate 40 is the stomach. It's all about that. The food that's been sourced, resourced from the 1949, that's been put on the table by the 49 in its butcher roll. Are you feeling more of that during this time? It can be quite an interesting contemplation. There are also many different ways to feed someone. You could think of maybe you want to offer them a new book that you feel will feed their soul, or read them a piece of poetry that will, nurture them in some way, or play a particular piece of music that will stir the emotions. Remember, we're in the solar plexus. This is an emotional gate. Can you stir the emotions at this time? And check in with your bargains. Are you looking for anything when you give your support, when you give your generosity? Hidden bargains can be really destructive, actually. The emotional wave here I mentioned at the beginning is called the ratchet wave, and it keeps score. In the 19 is very much about equitable apportionment. I said at the time, and I think about how many peas have you got on your plate, and have you got the same number of potatoes that I've got? It's that kind of, you've got a much bigger piece of cake than I did, and that's not acceptable. These things are noticed, and they're not really forgotten. The tribe has a really good memory. It really does. And what happens with the ratchet wave, right? And again, it's my only channel, so I speak from experience here. And you might notice it in yourself or in people that you're close to. But the ratchet wave, it will notice something that annoys it, and it will click up. And it doesn't do anything about it. And then maybe a week later, something else. And it can be something like somebody stuck the dishwasher in the wrong way. Just annoying. But you don't do anything about it. And then somebody leaves a cupboard open. And you walk into a room and all you see is the cupboard door is open. don't do anything about it. And then maybe somebody, I don't know, they walk mud into the front room when you've just hoovered. It could be, I mean, it's any number of little things. This is just within a domestic environment, of course. There are plays out in so many different ways. The point is that one day the ratchet reaches the top, and you might explode at that point about something that actually happened 3 weeks ago, and it's kicked off, and you're talking about how that dishwasher wasn't stacked, and you say you haven't used the dishwasher for 3 weeks, and your partner's looking at you going, oh yeah, what the hell. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. And then, you know, and if they know that you've got this wave, it can be so helpful, because there's obviously the touch can help. Not always, it can help. You can calm things down that way. And it's just really an observation. It's an expression of like, oh, the thing with the ratchet is that once it's exploded, it tends to like reset completely back to normal again. When you're aware, then some humor can come in. When you're not, it can really be messy. Maybe it's something that you have experienced. Before I got into human design, yeah, I know, my husband and I had some interesting times around my emotional wave, well, around my defined solar plexus altogether, actually, which is something maybe that you're learning about yourself as we go through this journey. And there's always, you know, there's nothing good or bad about any of this. It's just experience. We are observing ourselves in the world. We are not just allowing ourselves to do what we've always done because we've always done it, to behave the way we always have, to respond the way we all react the way we always have, because that's what we've always done. We're observing what we're doing, and maybe that gives us an opportunity to tweak it, saying, okay, that didn't work so well last time. I'll do something different this time. And maybe you won't. Maybe in the heat of the moment, you won't. But at least you're giving yourself the opportunity. You're looking at it, and that's different. And anything that's different breaks the pattern. It gives the opportunity for a new firing in the brain, a new pattern to get laid down. There are lots of other energies at play here, of course. It's not just the 3740. There are 10, 11 other energies in the transit. And of course, there are also, when you lay that on top of your own chart of everything that's defined in your natal chart, then you find that when you have a whole different experience. And that's another way of looking at things, is when you look at the transit in relation to your own chart. So please do hold this information gently and have fun with it. Take from it what resonates with you, and play with it. So thank you for watching my presentations over these last 13 weeks. I truly hope the information has been of value to you on your journey. And I look forward to connecting with you again at some point, in some way, somehow. And until then, as always, go gently and love yourselves. And I will see you soon. It's been an honor and a privilege to go through this material with you. Thank you.